I am the true heiress of the richest family, mistakenly swapped at birth. Upon my return to my rightful place, I initially anticipated a fierce battle with my false sister. However, I soon awakened a remarkable ability to read minds, allowing me to hear her innermost thoughts. Oh, my dear little sister, so soft and adorable. I have heard she had a difficult past. I must treat her doubly well to make amends. On the day I was brought back to the Liu family, I felt as taut as a bowstring. In the resplendent hall, my anxiety rendered me speechless. My nominal mother, displaying a hint of impatience, remarked, "Just treat this as your own home. Feel free to express any desires you may have." I stammered, unable to articulate a coherent sentence, my face flushing crimson. At that moment, a cheerful voice chimed in. "Mom, did you bring my sister home?" Lu Jiu, my so-called sister, who had occupied my life for the past 18 years, stood before me. With her fair complexion and exquisite features, she gazed at me with a warm, angelic smile, as if she were a celestial being who had descended to earth. Feeling somewhat uncomfortable, I instinctively shrank back, discreetly hiding my shoes behind me. A smile instantly appeared on my mother's face as she stepped forward, theatrically embracing Lu Ziyu with an overly sweet tone. "My darling, you finished classes so early today. What would you like for dinner? I'll personally cook for you." I was acutely aware that she was performing for my benefit. During the journey home, she had been on the phone with Lu Jiu, speaking as if I were invisible. "Sweetheart, with an extra person at home, will you feel uncomfortable? If she ever upsets you, you must tell Mommy that I have cared for you for over a decade. You will always be my beloved treasure. If she causes you distress, I will send her back." My darling should never feel compromised for anyone. I understood that while she appeared to be comforting Lu Jiu, she was, in fact, admonishing me. The Liu family had only one treasure, and that was Lu Jiu. Bringing me back and providing me with a meal was the greatest act of kindness I could expect. I should not seek more, let alone fantasize about competing with Lu Jiu. To ensure I remembered this, my mother orchestrated a scene of maternal love and filial piety. Even in a new home, no one welcomed me. I nestled in a corner, striving to minimize my presence. I had thought this performance would continue for some time, but in the next moment, Lu Jiu looked up at my mother with confusion. "Mom, what are you saying? Today is the day my sister comes home, of course. We should prepare whatever she likes." As she approached me, her radiant smile shone like the sun. "Mating, from now on, I will be your sister." Simultaneously, another voice echoed in my mind. "Oh, my dear little sister, so soft and adorable. I have heard she had a difficult past. I must treat her doubly well to make amends." Huh? 2. I cast a puzzled glance at Lu Jiu, whose face still bore a warm smile. The voice I had just heard seemed like nothing more than a figment of my imagination. Noticing my dazed expression, my mother furrowed her brow and said, "Jiu is asking you what you'd like to eat tonight." Instinctively, I straightened up, my body tensing, and replied, "Anything is fine." "Well then, I will instruct Aunt Chen to prepare dishes according to Jiu's usual preferences," my mother replied in a rather indifferent tone. "The third room on the right side of the second floor is reserved for you. Take a look and see if there's anything you need. If you want something, let Aunt Chen know, and she will prepare it for you. Consider this place your home. There's no need to be polite with us." No sooner had she finished speaking than I heard an annoyed voice from beside me. "What do you mean by treating it like home? This is already my sister's home." Lu Jiu exclaimed. "Mom, what's wrong with you today? Your tone is so odd." After saying this, she turned to me with a comforting glance and added, "Mom probably feels a bit dizzy from the long ride. Don't take it to heart. Come on, let me show you to your room." My mother appeared somewhat embarrassed, chuckling awkwardly as she said, "I do feel a bit dizzy right now. I'll lie down for a while. You two sisters can chat for a bit." At that moment, a voice echoed in my mind once more. "Oh dear, Mom really is something. I know she worries that I might feel insecure. But she should also consider how the sister feels." Hearing such words right after coming home, how hurt must she be? This time, I was utterly certain that it was Lu Jiu's voice. Yet the Lu Jiu standing before me had not uttered a word. As if noticing my gaze, Lu Jiu squeezed my hand. "Let us go. I'll take you to see your room." 3. During dinner, the entire family was present, including my father, whom I had not yet met, and my brother, Lu Jijin. Jijin and Jiu. One could immediately tell they were siblings. The addition of Jia Mating's name amongst theirs only served to add an air of awkwardness and clumsiness to the situation. My palms grew clammy with sweat as I dared not lift my gaze, merely pushing the white rice around my plate. "Sister only eats plain rice. Is it that these dishes don't suit her taste?" Lu Ziyu mused absent-mindedly. It's my fault. I forgot to ask her what she likes this afternoon. Although Lu Jiu was distracted, her inner thoughts once again reached my mind. I instinctively glanced at her, gathering the courage to pick up a shrimp when suddenly, my brother Lu Jichin stood up. With a stoic expression, he took the entire plate of shrimp and poured it into my bowl. At that very moment, another voice echoed in my mind. Wah, my sister is so adorable. From today onward, I am a man with two sisters. But why is she so thin, so small? Did her previous family treat her poorly? How could they not cherish such a lovely sister? Rest assured, you are home now. I will treat you twice as well. I stared blankly at Lu Jichin. In stark contrast to the overwhelming chatter in my head, he appeared cold and distant, his handsome face devoid of any expression as he simply said, "Eat more." Just then, I heard an exasperated roar in my mind. Lu Ziyu exclaimed, Lu Jichin, you scoundrel. How dare you serve her dishes before me? Ack. It infuriates me. No, I cannot lose. My sister must like me the most. With that, she sprang up, grabbing the plate of cola chicken wings and placing it in front of me. Sister, try this. It's really delicious. Lu Ziyu's eyes sparkled like a puppy wagging its tail. I glanced between Lu Ziyu and the indifferent Lu Jichin, both of their inner voices aligning perfectly at that moment. Sister, eat mine. Don't pay attention to that scoundrel Lu Jichin. I felt an inexplicable surge of pressure. After a moment's hesitation, I simultaneously picked up a shrimp and a piece of cola chicken wing. The result was that I choked. Cough, cough. I bent over, coughing violently. My face flushed. 2 cups of water were hurriedly thrust into my hands. Sister, drink this one. I personally poured you milk. That scoundrel Lu Jichin is trying to compete with me even now. Don't be deceived by him. Drink mine. I added honey. It's sweet and delightful. My hand trembled as I reached out. The eyes of Lu Jichin and Lu Ziyu crossed in the air, nearly sparking flames. On the brink of choking, I contemplated the possibility of drinking both cups at once. Just as I was about to boldly extend my hands to take both, my mother suddenly pushed them aside. At your age, how can you still act like children? She gently reprimanded Lu Jichin and Lu Jiu. Drink some warm water. She reached out, gently patting my back, and handed me a cup of warm water. In that instant, I also caught a glimpse of my mother's thoughts. I initially worried that with one more person in the house, Jijin and Jiu would be unhappy. It seems they're getting along well enough. Have I been overly concerned? Speaking of which, have I been too strict with mating? After all, she is my biological daughter. For, after a laborious dinner, Lu Ziyu once again nudged my mother's arm and asked, Mom, has my sister's household registration been transferred to our family? I involuntarily held my breath. Although my parents had brought me back, they had not mentioned anything about transferring my household registration or reverting my surname. My previous surname felt like a profound mark, constantly reminding me that I did not belong here. Even though I had been reunited with my biological parents, I still felt like an outsider. My mother's face briefly flickered with discomfort. She glanced at me and awkwardly chuckled. Well, there's no rush on that. Your father and I have been quite busy lately, and Haven Tea had the time. Before she could finish, Lu Jichin interrupted directly. I happen to have free time tomorrow. I can take her to make the change. However, we should also consider her opinion. Lu Jichin turned to me, his expression earnest. Do you want to change your surname back to Lu? In that moment, his heart conveyed, regardless of whether your surname is Lu or Jia, you will always be my sister. Just do what you love. I will respect all your choices and help you achieve everything you wish. An unexplainable surge of courage welled up within me. In the past decade, no one had ever spoken to me like that. I looked into Lu Jichin's eyes, mustered my courage, and said, Yes, I want to change both my surname and my name. I added cautiously, Thank you, brother. Lu Jichin's cold demeanor froze. Then, I heard the sound of firecrackers going off in his mind. My sister called me brother. She called me brother. May lightning strike me, so I can remain in this moment forever. I must have been born to wait for her to call me brother. Wah, my sister is the cutest in the world. Those without a sister are in for a tough time. Perhaps we should declare today a national holiday? Let us call it Celebration of My Sister Calling Me Brother Day. Could it possibly sound a bit unpleasant? Oh, never mind. Later I shall step out to set off 20 strings of firecrackers. Today is a fortuitous day. All that I wish for shall come to fruition. Meanwhile, Lu Ziyu's heart was a tempest, fraught with thunder and lightning. I want to slay Lu Jichin. How dare my sister call him brother first? She hasn't even referred to me as sister yet. Woe is me. Dear sister, could you cast a glance my way? Would you permit me to play the role of your loyal dog? Whiff, 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 whiff. Sister, look at me. Pay attention to me. At last. I could no longer suppress my laughter. I wish to adopt a new name, but I have yet to decide what it should be. Sister, could you assist me in brainstorming? Lu Ziyu's mind erupted like a firework, bursting with ideas. After what felt like an eternity of contemplating, she finally returned to reality. Clutching a hefty dictionary, a fountain pen, and a notebook, her countenance grave as she sat beside me. What do you think of these characters? It's obvious we are sisters. The carefully curated characters she presented were Yu, Ju, Yu, and Yen, each signifying the splendid brilliance of jade, harmonizing beautifully with the characters Jean and Yu. Indeed, it was evident that we belonged to the same family. Just as I hesitated, my brother unexpectedly interjected into the conversation. What about the character Jing? Lu Zhijing? He swiftly inscribed the character Jing in the notebook, chuckling to himself. Lu Zhijing, Lu Zhijing. It's clear they are siblings. Hee hee. Lu Zhi rolled her eyes in exasperation, grinding her teeth. Lu Zhijing, you've dropped your abacus beads on my face. Just listen to how Lu Zhijing sounds. Does it not seem more fitting for a girl? One might think we have an abundance of brothers, not a sister. With that, she glared at me in frustration. Sister, let us ignore him. Look at the characters I have chosen. What do you think of Yue? Ziyu, Lu Ziyu, is far more melodious than Zhijing. Then, a silly grin akin to Lu Zhijin's crept onto her face. Ziyu and Ziyu sound somewhat alike, hee hee. Besides, my sister is as adorable as a little moon. Ziyu, how lovely that sounds. A little moon, indeed. Gazing at Lu Ziyu's radiant smile, reminiscent of a little sun, I felt a warmth envelop me. Well then, let us name her Ziyu. I quite like this name. The moment those words escaped my lips, a brilliant flash of white light ignited in Lu Ziyu's heart, akin to a multitude of supernovae erupting simultaneously. In that instant, her mind went blank. For a prolonged moment, a deluge of joyous laughter erupted within my mind. Sister chose the name I suggested. Sister chose the name I suggested. Sister even said, she likes this name. Rounded off, that means I am her favorite. Sister said, she likes me. Woof 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 woof. Woof. Woof woof woof. In stark contrast to the exuberant, barking Lu Ziyu, Lu Zhijing was engulfed in a tempest of despair. I am truly foolish, I really am. I merely knew that Lu Ziyu, that little rascal, would compete with me for my sister's affection. I had no inkling she would even contest me over names. As I observed Lu Zhijing on the verge of transforming into a lamenting figure, I finally mustered the resolve to speak. The name Zhijing is quite nice as well. I like it too. How about this? Let her official name be Ziyu. And we can use Zhijing as a nickname when at home. How does that sound? After formally transferring the household registration to the Lu family and altering the name, Lu Ziyu clamored for a change of school. Although Lu Ziyu and I were of the same age, I was one grade below her. I had dropped out for a year, as my adoptive parents believed that education held little value for girls, advocating instead for early marriage. Thus, after finishing middle school, they compelled me to abandon my studies and seek employment. I worked for a year, handing over most of my earnings to my adoptive parents while saving the remainder bit by bit. It took a full year of diligent saving to finally accumulate enough for tuition. After that, I continued to balance work and study, earning my living expenses. Hence, I was a year behind most of my peers. At times, while at school, I would encounter former classmates from middle school who were now a grade above me. Their gazes were complex, mingling sympathy with mockery. I relentlessly reminded myself to disregard others' opinions, yet I often yearned to hide away, to retreat to a place where no one could see me. When I informed the Lu family that I was not in my final year of high school but rather in my second year, that long-familiar urge to evade reality surged within me once more. My mother cast a fleeting glance of undisguised disdain. You've even repeated a grade? At such a young age, you've failed to learn anything worthwhile. It's evident that people from your background lack refinement. She spoke with a hint of contempt. Now that you are part of our family, you must shed those unbecoming habits. I do not expect you to be as exceptional as Ji Yu and Ji Jin, but you cannot resemble your adoptive parents, displaying such indecorous behavior. The Lu family cannot afford such disgrace. My palms began to sweat profusely. Even my breathing grew rapid. I wished to convey to her that this was not the case. My academic performance had always been exemplary, consistently ranking first. Even while balancing work and study, I had never lagged behind. I simply had never been afforded such advantageous circumstances. What others viewed as a given had required me to strive with all my might to attain. I opened my mouth, intending to speak, yet ultimately, I found myself unable to voice a single word. Upon noticing my pale countenance, my mother's tone softened slightly. I have already contacted a full-time boarding school for you. You will reside and study there, only having a month off during summer vacation. At that time, if you wish to rent a place or go out with classmates, that is permissible. A full-time boarding school. My mind spun dizzily, yet I gritted my teeth and inquired, is it the academy in the southern part of the city? Have you heard of it? My mother regarded me with mild surprise before continuing. Indeed. I've heard it is very strict in its discipline. Many young delinquents who have strayed from the right path have become obedient after attending. You need to correct the bad habits you've developed over the years. I am doing this for your own good. The academy in the southern part of the city. It felt as though a hammer was relentlessly striking my brain, causing my limbs to tremble. How could I possibly be unaware of that academy? My only friend from middle school, we had vowed to attend university together and escape that ignorant, isolated village, never to return. Yet, in the second year of junior high, her family arranged a marriage for her. She fought fiercely against it, even contemplating running away. Ultimately, she was forcibly sent to that academy for reformation for 6 months. I had no knowledge of what transpired within those walls. I only knew that when she emerged, she was irrevocably changed. She often wandered through the village, disheveled and lost. If someone startled her, raising their voice even slightly, she would drop to her knees, crying, "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I will be a good child and listen to my parents. Please don't hit me anymore." By the time I was brought back to the Liu family, she had already borne 2 children and was pregnant with a third. I could not utter a single word. I merely gazed blankly at my so-called mother. In that moment, my heart plummeted into an icy abyss. To claim I was not disappointed would be a lie. Upon discovering that my biological parents were not who I believed them to be, I previously held an intense yearning and longing. I longed for her to embrace me in her arms and say, "You have suffered for so many years. From now on, by your mother's side, you need not endure any longer." Yet, through her actions, she conveyed to me, "Since you have already endured for so long, why not continue to bear it? Why must you disrupt our happy family?" Indeed, I was perceived as the disruptor of this household. In her eyes, without my presence, she, my father, and Lu Zhijin and Lu Ziyu could enjoy a harmonious family life together. My existence, awkward and uncomfortable, would only tarnish the serene atmosphere of our home. Therefore, she had long since devised a plan to send me to a full-time, closed management academy, out of sight and out of mind. Perhaps she was unaware of the true nature of that institution, viewing it merely as a school with stricter regulations. Perhaps she had adorned this decision with justifications, calling it reformation or for my own good. In reality, she merely wished to distance herself from me. A distorted and peculiar thought suddenly surged within me. What if I were to die? Would she feel a sense of relief? Would she be overjoyed? At that moment, Lu Ziyu naturally placed her hand over mine. As if oblivious to my mother's recent proposition, she remarked, "Jiue, you are in your second year of high school, right? How wonderful. I am 1 year ahead of you, and I can look out for you at school." Lu Zijin discreetly placed his hand on my shoulder. "There is still some time before school starts. I can help you with some tutoring." Upon hearing this, Lu Ziyu shot Lu Zijin a glare. "You're already working. Are you sure you remember high school material? Don't lead Jiu astray." Lu Zijin smirked, looking at Lu Ziyu with a hint of mockery. "That is still better than you, the academic slacker. Have you forgotten that I was the top scorer in our province's college entrance examination?" Lu Ziyu, vexed, retorted, "So what? Jiu and I can study together and progress together." The exchanges between them ignited sparks of tension. The previously twisted, frigid thoughts within me were abruptly interrupted by their lively banter. The warmth from the 2 hands resting on me radiated gently. I lowered my gaze for a moment, and a smile unexpectedly graced my lips. The courage that had once vanished revived within me at that instant. I looked at my mother and calmly spoke. "Originally, Jiu and I were supposed to be in the same grade. However, my adoptive parents believed that girls need not pursue extensive education. After graduating from middle school, they pressured me to drop out. I worked for a year to save enough tuition to continue my studies. That is why I am a year younger than Jiu. Nevertheless, I did not abandon my pursuit of knowledge. In the most recent examination, I ranked first in the entire school. Perhaps I am not as exceptional as you expect. But to hastily conclude that I am a delinquent merely because I repeated a grade seems rather rash, does it not? The moment I uttered those words, a heavy burden that had pressed upon me seemed to vanish. I felt an unprecedented lightness. I did not speak out to blame anyone or to elicit guilt or pity from others. Rather, I sought to confront my own reality, to forgive myself, and to embrace my existence. I was striving to remind myself, this is not my fault. I have worked diligently. Even if I have fallen behind others, there is no reason for me to feel ashamed or to constantly seek to hide away. While I felt an unprecedented sense of relief, the living room fell into silence. No one spoke, yet I could hear 3 inner voices. That family truly treats my sister poorly, not even allowing her to attend school. How much suffering has she endured? I must repay her 1,000-fold. I swear, no one will ever bully you again. The voice of my brother, imbued with sorrow yet laced with determination. How could they treat Jiue this way? It should have been me who couldn't attend school. I have taken over Jiue's past life. Had it not been for me, she would have grown up carefree in the Liu family rather than being forced to work after middle school. Moreover, upon her return to the Liu family, our parents often favor me, even though she is their biological daughter. Jiue may not voice it, but she must be deeply hurt. It's all my fault. If only I did not exist, she would be free from this. How can I make amends so that she will forgive me? The voice of Liu Jiu, tinged with shame and self-loathing. Jiue has suffered so much. Was I wrong? I have always believed that biological ties are stronger than adoptive ones. Now that Jiue has finally returned home, I worry that Jiu will become distant from me. I never considered Jiue's feelings. She endured so much hardship in her previous home. Here, I remain distant from her. How deeply must this child be suffering? I am not a competent mother. Yet, suddenly having a daughter, even knowing she is related to me by blood, makes it difficult for me to feel a sense of closeness immediately. If I strive to make amends and attempt to be a good mother from this point onward, will Jiue forgive me? The voice of my mother, filled with guilt yet tinged with tenderness. Unlike the incessant echoes of Jijin and Jiu that perpetually thrummed in my mind, this was the second time I heard my mother's inner voice. I realized, albeit sluggishly, that not every thought could penetrate my consciousness. Only those voices imbued with genuine emotion and goodwill could reach me. Although I had previously achieved the top rank in my grade, I had only attended an ordinary township school. The esteemed academy I was to transfer to had an exceptional faculty and educational resources that my former school could hardly rival. Thus, I felt an inevitable twinge of anxiety. Therefore, I readily accepted Liu Jijin's offer to tutor me. However, shortly after the tutoring began, I found myself regretting it, for he was exceedingly noisy. Although Liu Jijin appeared detached and spoke little beyond the lessons, his inner dialogue was remarkably vivid. As I worked on my problems, it felt as though an onslaught of commentary was bombarding me. When I answered correctly, my sister is so clever. She is truly my sister. She is a genius. My sister is the most adorable in the world. When I answered incorrectly, which fool came up with this question? Step forward. I promise not to harm you. Yet, my clever sister surely cannot be ignorant of such questions. She must have simply made an inadvertent mistake. Oh, even my forgetful sister is delightful. If I sat idle with my pen, lost in thought, my sister holds her pen so neatly. As expected of my sister, she writes more beautifully than anyone else. What is she thinking? Is she thinking of me? If my hand trembled and the pen fell to the ground, what is wrong with this pen? It is an honor for it to be held by my sister. How dare you fall? But is my sister perhaps tired? Does she find my teaching dull? What should I do? Should I declare class dismissed and take her out to play? In addition, Liu Jiu would occasionally join the fray. Almost every 10 minutes, she would diligently appear, bearing tea, fruits, and an array of delightful snacks, her face adorned with a sweet smile as she said, Jiu, you must be exhausted from studying so hard, right? Have a bite to eat and take a short break before we continue. Yet her inner thoughts were a tempest of emotions. Damn you, Liu Jijin, you shall not monopolize my sister. How infuriating. Had I known, I should have studied more diligently myself. I too wished to tutor my sister in private. Woe is me. At times, when their gazes met, they would engage in a silent exchange of banter that left me with a splitting headache. What surprised me the most was my mother. After that day, she genuinely reflected on her actions and began to show concern for me. However, it seemed she was still unsure of how to approach me. Often calling Liu Jijin aside to inquire, Jijin, how is your sister faring in her studies? Is she keeping up? If she encounters difficulties, We can hire private tutors for her at home. Lu Jijin replied with a subtle smile. Jiyu is quite intelligent, with a solid foundation. With her capabilities, achieving a top 5 rank in her grade is certainly within reach. With a little effort, perhaps our family will produce another top scholar. Upon finishing, he cast a somewhat provocative glance at Lu Jiyu. A poor student. Jiyu clearly takes after me, her brother. She is innately bright. Lu Jijin thought to himself with satisfaction. This response undoubtedly delighted her. Initially, she perceived me as rather simple and unrefined, but gradually she began to realize that I too possessed my own merits. I could also be a clever, diligent, and exceptional child. Consequently, her attitude towards me visibly softened. I could almost hear her inner musings. Indeed, Jijin and Jiyu are true siblings. Jijin has always been a child we need not worry about, excelling effortlessly. Jiyu is likewise clever and sensible. She is indeed my daughter. Meanwhile, Lu Ji lamented in despair. Woe is me. Will my sister think less of me for my poor grades? From this day forth, I shall study diligently and no longer remain a sloth. After a cacophony of study sessions lasting over half a month, we finally approached the start of the new school term. Jiyu has been studying for so long. It is time for break. Today, I shall take her out to buy new clothes, and none of you are to interfere. Lu Jiyu declared assertively, pulling me from the study. Lu Jijin had intended to say, I happen to be free today. I can accompany you both. However, he was swiftly silenced by Lu Jiyu's flippant remark, we are going to buy clothes, including personal items for girls, so gentlemen, please refrain from joining. He could only sulk in silence, muttering to himself. My mother, coincidentally occupied with work, handed me a bank card. Go out with Jiyu. Buy whatever you like. Feel free to use the money on this card. During this time, my mother's demeanor towards me had grown increasingly gentle. Though she had yet to fully bridge the gap between us, and still sometimes exhibited excessive politeness, she was indeed striving to be a good mother. Everything seemed to be subtly improving. Yet, upon entering those high-end boutiques, I couldn't help but feel intimidated. I had thought that my time in the Lu household had bolstered my confidence, but upon seeing the exorbitant price tags, I was once again overwhelmed. A single coat cost tens of thousands, equivalent to more than a year of my salary. Dizziness washed over me, as though I had stumbled into another world. Suddenly, Lu Jiyu squeezed my hand. Don't worry, there are hundreds of thousands on that card. Buy whatever you want, she reassured me. Then, she pulled out her own card. I have 20,000 in pocket money each month, plus nearly 1 million in New Year's gifts. If you need more, I can cover it for you. Just take what you like. I gazed at her, feeling somewhat bewildered. Lu Jiyu leaned in and whispered, Jiyu, you are the true heiress of this family. All of this was meant to be yours. I stared at her, beginning to grasp why she had chosen today to take me shopping. After a moment of contemplation, I nodded gently. All right, I understand. But I've never purchased such clothing and am unsure of what suits me. Sister, could you help me pick a few outfits? A smile blossomed on Lu Jiyu's face. Like a child who had just received her beloved Barbie doll, she suddenly became animated, bouncing around the store. This outfit is stunning. It will look adorable on you. This one is equally charming. We must buy it. Oh, this bag seems tailor-made for you. It will look absolutely fabulous. In no time, I found myself buried under a mountain of clothes. An odd sensation washed over me, as if I were a doll in Lu Jiyu's hands. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. This outfit is beautiful too. Jiyu, try it on quickly. There are many more to go. I was swept up in Lu Jiyu's fervor, changing clothes at a frantic pace. With each outfit, she would eagerly snap photos, her heart brimming with exuberant compliments. My sister is just too adorable. Oh, a kiss. My sister is like a doll. Simply too cute. I'll send this photo to Lu Jijin. It will make him green with envy. This style suits Jiyu perfectly. Truly, beauty shines in all she wears. Oh, how I wish to dress my sister up every day. Those without a sister are truly at a loss. Am I cute? I tilted my head to gaze at my reflection in the mirror. Over a month ago, I stood before Lu Jiyu in shabby, faded clothes, my gaunt frame and pale complexion casting a shadow of shame that made me wish to hide. During my time in the Lu household, I had been well cared for, gaining a bit of weight and a healthier complexion, adorning myself in luxurious attire I once deemed unimaginable. The reflection staring back at me was indeed charming. Standing beside Lu Jiyu, I no longer resembled an elegant swan and a bewildered ugly duckling, but rather, we appeared as true sisters. Seemingly aware of my thoughts, Lu Ji, you led me to a beauty salon. With grand gestures, she declared, money is no object. My only request is to transform my sister into a princess. No, she is already a princess, she stated with a sense of pride. Indeed, money held immense power. In just one afternoon, the version of me that emerged from the mirror was unrecognizable. I resembled a delicate princess, a finely crafted doll, akin to a dreamlike bubble that, with a gentle breath, swayed and floated in the air, reflecting a spectrum of sunlight. Upon returning home, my father and mother were taken aback. My mother embraced me, examining me from every angle, showering me with compliments about my taste and sense of style. I could hear her thoughts echoing, indeed, my precious daughter, you look stunning. If this were a simulation game, I imagine seeing a progress bar above my mother's head, significantly elevated. Such is reality. Love does not arise without reason. Initially, she harbored disdain for me. To her, we were almost strangers, connected by a mere thread of blood. I appeared small, unattractive, uncouth, and unrefined in her eyes. Yet, as she gradually discovered my intelligence and quick learning ability, she realized that with a little enhancement, I could transform into a beautiful little princess. It turns out I am indeed a living, feeling person, her long-lost daughter. The long-delayed maternal love surged forth at last. With a voice choked with emotion, she embraced me and said, Jiyu, my precious daughter, you bear such a striking resemblance to your mother in her youth. I found myself at a loss, reciprocating her embrace. Meanwhile, Lu Jiyu stood quietly to the side, smiling as she observed us. I heard her softly say, Jiyu, welcome home. As night fell, Lu Jiyu hesitantly expressed her desire to sleep beside me. Throughout the day, I had sensed that she had something on her mind. Thus, I readily acquiesced to her request. In the darkness of the night, Lu Jiyu tossed and turned restlessly, her thoughts a chaotic symphony, akin to a disordered rhapsody. After an indeterminate passage of time, I heard her take a deep breath. Jiyu, her voice trembled, laced with an unspoken tension. I wish to inquire about your adoptive parents, that is to say, my biological parents. What kind of people are they? This question was entirely within my expectations. In fact, I was somewhat taken aback that Lu Jiyu had only now chosen to ask. The Jia family? To me, they were far from exemplary parents. Throughout my upbringing, they exhibited an extreme preference for sons. Everything in the household was geared towards my younger brother, while I merely played the role of his caretaker. At times, when Jia's father had indulged in too much drink, he would unleash his frustrations upon me. A few months prior, they even contemplated selling me to a 50-year-old bachelor, a man with a history of alcoholism and criminality, simply because he was willing to offer a substantial bride price. Had it not been for the Lu family finding me just in time, I might have already been sent away. The only sentiment I harbored for that household was disdain. I recounted all this without embellishment, calmly laying bare the truth. Is that so? Lu Jiyu's voice was subdued. After a prolonged silence, she spoke again. Jiyu, do you know? When I first discovered the switch in identities, I contemplated returning to that family. It was Mother who, with tears in her eyes, implored me, could you bear to abandon the affection cultivated over these past years? I truly found it difficult to part with the parents of the Lu family. Yet I pondered, if I remained here, what would become of you? Eventually, it seemed as though Mother understood my thoughts. She then proposed to negotiate with the Jia family, offering them a sum of money to relinquish their rights to both daughters. She stipulated that the condition for bringing you back was that they would no longer pursue me. After her negotiations with the Jia family, she seemed fearful that I might again yearn for home. Thus, she fervently conveyed to me how impoverished the Jia family was, how uncouth and unrefined its parents were. She recounted how poorly you were treated, often beaten, and nearly sold. Her words were entirely aimed at dissuading me from returning to that family. At that moment, Lu Jiyu's voice quivered. I breathed a sigh of relief. In that instant, I felt fortunate. I was grateful that the one suffering from poverty was not me, that the one enduring beatings and the threat of being sold was not me. I was thankful for my parents who loved me so dearly. Even knowing I was not their biological child, they still chose me. I felt fortunate to continue being the beloved daughter of the Lu family, to enjoy all of this without burden. Lu Jiyu trembled all over, curling up like a small creature.
Jiyu, I'm sorry.
I was too selfish, I apologize. I know you can never truly forgive me. All of this was meant to be yours. I have taken what rightfully belongs to you. Do you know? On the day you returned, I was truly terrified. I didn't know what to do. I feared that my parents and brother would grow increasingly fond of you, that they would cast me aside. I understood that none of this belonged to me, yet I could not bear to part with it. I could not bear to lose my father and mother, my brother, or everything in this home. For a fleeting moment, I even contemplated becoming a villain, driving you away. I dressed beautifully, intending to intimidate you. But that day, when I saw you standing there, I realized, though we were born on the same day, you appeared so much smaller than me. You were thin and frail, with bruises marking your skin. You huddled in a corner, afraid to even lift your gaze. You resembled a forsaken young creature. In that moment, I thought, this is not how it should be. You should not be like this. You ought to be the princess of the Liu family, proud, beautiful, and noble, cherished like a star. That frail, wounded being should be me. You bore the burden of my suffering. At that moment, regret washed over me. I felt I should leave this home, returning everything that belonged to you.
Jiu, I am sorry.
I know that no matter what I do, I can never truly make amends to you. I apologize truly. Lu Jiu clung to my sleeve like a drowning person grasping for a lifeline. She repeatedly uttered her apologies, her tears flowing without pause. I understood that she had been holding these sentiments in for far too long, from the day I returned until now. She had likely been rehearsing them in her mind. And what of me? On the day I returned home, the day I saw Lu Jiu, what was I thinking? Jealousy, hatred, resentment. Yes, even as I repeatedly reminded myself that we were both infants when the mix-up occurred, and that she did not choose this fate. I still could not suppress the blazing envy that consumed me. Why should I endure the suffering of those years, while she enjoyed the life that should have been mine? Why were my biological parents more affectionate towards her? Why was Lu Jiu like a warm little sun, a celestial being who had mistakenly descended to earth? While I could only harbor dark, unacknowledged thoughts, gazing up in jealousy from the shadows. The moment I laid eyes on her, what burned within me was hatred, as if she were the very architect of my years of suffering. For a fleeting moment, I entertained the notion of destroying her. I would seize my parents' love, the Liu family's wealth, and claim it all for myself. Afterwards, I would cast her out, forcing her to endure the torment I had suffered for over a decade. Yet, as this flame of hatred consumed my soul, I heard her heartfelt musings. She said, "Oh, my little sister, so small and soft, how adorable. I have heard she had a difficult past, and I must double my efforts to treat her well, to compensate her." In that moment, I found it laughable. What right did she have to compensate me? What could she possibly offer in restitution? Following that, Lu Jiu genuinely endeavored, as she had promised, to make amends. It was she who defended me before our mother, she who initiated the transfer of my household registration, she who persistently sought to bring joy to my heart, and she who took me shopping, asserting that I was destined to be a princess. Lu Jiu was like the sun, stubbornly attempting to melt the ice encasing my heart. Yet I still could not fully let go. I desperately reminded myself, if I were to forgive so easily, what would my life of suffering over the past years amount to? Until this afternoon, when mother held me close, saying, "Jiu, my precious daughter, you resemble me so much in my youth," I caught sight of Lu Jiu in the corner, her face adorned with a wistful smile. I heard her inner voice whispering, "Indeed, Jiu is the true princess of the Liu family. She and our parents share the genuine bond of blood. She is as beautiful as our mother and as intelligent as my brother. Though I attend a school that is ostensibly superior to hers, my academic performance pales in comparison. It seems that genetics indeed has a predetermined role in our lives. No matter how long I have occupied her space, I can never truly replace her. In the future, my parents will likely grow increasingly fond of her. No, Lu Jiu, what are you thinking? You must not succumb to jealousy, nor wallow in grievance. These are things that rightfully belong to my sister. Having held on to them for so long, it is time to return them to her. After the college entrance examination, I shall apply to a distant province, never to return. Let Jiu reunite with her true family." I noticed a trace of tears at the corner of her eye, yet she smiled at me and said, "Jiu, welcome home." A sudden wave of panic washed over me. I yearned to return to my rightful home, but is a home devoid of the noisy, clumsy, and seemingly more childish Lu Jiu, who claims the role of an elder sister, truly what I desire. I have indeed harbored hatred towards her, exerting every effort to regard her as an adversary to be vanquished. Yet I have also been grateful to her. She has brought smiles to my face, instilled courage within me, and enabled me to gradually accept and forgive myself. In my heart, what does Lu Jiu truly represent? In the darkness, Lu Ziyu continued to weep, her sobs so intense that she could scarcely breathe, filling the room with her frantic gasps. Time seemed to stretch on indefinitely until I heard my own voice, muffled as though it emerged from a shadowy corner, oddly distorted. Lu Ziyu, there is a question I have long wished to pose to you. I enunciated slowly, deliberately. When we first met, you called me your sister.
Yet, we were born on the same day.
Why do you perceive me as the younger sister and yourself as the elder? Lu Ziyu's crying was a disheveled mess, her words barely coherent. Through her sobs, she stammered because an elder sister is meant to protect her younger sister. Now I understand. I let out a long sigh, having been bested by her. Yet, I could not suppress a smile. The bitter ice of resentment that I had clung to seemed to shatter in that moment. So, be it, let it crumble. I had grown weary of forcing myself to wear thorns. In that instant, an unprecedented sense of relief washed over me. Lu Ziyu was still sobbing, nearly gasping for air. As I gently patted her back, I whispered in her ear, both as a comfort and as an answer to the question that had long lingered in my mind. You are my sister. The best and only sister I have in this world. There is no longer any need for hatred, for love can dissolve all icy barriers. Henceforth, there shall be no more false heiresses to despise. Only my kin, my family remains. I have a sister who loves me dearly, and a brother who shares that affection. My parents may not love me as much just yet, but they are striving to do so. Everything will improve. In the end, Lu Ziyu and I embraced as we drifted into slumber, both eagerly anticipating the dawn of a new day and the sight of the rising sun. The end. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this tale, please remember to like and subscribe. Until we meet again in the next story.